Hey guys, this is Miss Cricket again. We are going to go over Classroom Practice 20. I'm going to walk through each one of the steps just like you should have done when you completed this assignment, or if you are completing it now. You can follow along and of course pause the video whenever you need a little extra time to finish. The first part under Exercise 1 says classify each sentence, underline the complete subject once and the complete predicate twice. So in class, just like we would normally do there, we're going to read the sentence together. Number 1, the sentence says, I rode to the baseball game on my scooter. Who rode to the baseball game on my scooter? I, subject pronoun. What is being said about I? I rode, verb. To is probably a preposition, so we're going to assume that. To, preposition. To what? Remember, it's just one word. Game, object of the preposition. This word baseball answers the question, what kind of game? And of course the answer is baseball, adjective. The is an article adjective. On, preposition. On what? Scooter, object of the preposition. This word my answers the question whose scooter? So it is a possessive pronoun adjective. Subject, noun, verb, pattern 1. Skill check. To the baseball game, prepositional phrase. On my scooter, prepositional phrase. Exclamation point, exclamation point, strong feeling, exclamatory sentence. Go back to the verb, divide the complete subject from the complete predicate. And then don't forget, underline the complete subject once and the complete predicate twice. Number 2, let's read the sentence together. A swarm of bees buzzed around outside our window. What buzzed around outside our window? You might be tempted to say bees. However, there is a word in front of that, and that word is of, and it's a preposition. So in this sentence, when we ask the question, what buzzed around outside our window, the answer to that question is swarm, subject, noun. We talked about this a little bit in class before we all had to leave and start homeschooling, but maybe you remembered that. If not, there you go. What is being said about swarm? Swarm, buzzed, verb. Then you can go back to this of, and we say of, preposition, of what, bees, object of the preposition. Let's move to the next word, around. Let's see. Around can either be an adverb or a preposition. If it is a preposition, it must have an object of the preposition. So let's see if there's a noun in the sentence that answers the question what or whom after the word around. If we say around what window, not exactly. So in this case, around answers the question buzzed where, and around is an adverb. Outside is a preposition because there's a word, the word window answers the question outside what. So outside is a preposition, outside what, window, object of the preposition, and then the word our answers the question whose window. Our, possessive pronoun adjective. Subject, noun, verb, pattern 1. Oops, I forgot something. A, article adjective. Sorry about that, guys. You would have caught me on that. Okay, subject, noun, verb, pattern 1. Let's look for prepositional phrases. Of bees, prepositional phrase. Outside our window, prepositional phrase. Period, statement, declarative sentence. Go back to the verb, divide the complete subject from the complete predicate. Oh, what do you notice about this sentence? Well, you probably noticed that there's a prepositional phrase in the subject this time, and that is okay. So we're going to start seeing more of those as we progress through our language program. So we go back to the verb, divide the complete subject from the complete predicate, underline the complete subject once and the complete predicate twice. Now, exercise 2 asks us to use sentence 1 above. Sorry about that moving around, guys. Use sentence 1 above to complete the table below, and we know this as a noun chart. So we list the nouns used. Remember, we're looking at sentence 1. Okay, we're completing the noun chart for sentence 1. So what is the first noun in sentence 1 that you see? You may be tempted to say I, but remember that I is a pronoun, and so it is not a noun in this sentence. The first noun that we see in this sentence is the word game. So we're going to write that word in this first box here. The next thing we need to know is what is its noun job, or what is its function in this sentence? And we look to the label to discover the answer to that question. It is an object of a preposition. So OP is its job. Is it singular or plural? Well, there's just one game, so it's singular. Is it common or proper? I hope you said common, because it's not capitalized and it's not talking about a proper noun, a proper game, or a proper name of a game. Sorry about that. What is the simple subject? Well, the simple subject is that subject pronoun, which is I. And in this case, it also happens to be the complete subject. What is the simple predicate? Remember what we say over and over in class. The simple predicate is the verb. So the simple predicate in this sentence is what? You got it. Rode. R-O-D-E. What is the second noun in this sentence? You're correct. The second noun in this sentence is the word scooter. S-C-O-O-T-E-R. And of course, I expect you to spell that correctly because it is right there on your paper. The noun job is object of the preposition. Is it singular or plural? Singular. There's just one. Is it common or proper? Common. That's right. Good job. Okay, let's move on to exercise 3. And in exercise 3, we have 6 sentences. And there are several directions here, so it's always important to to read each instruction and to make sure that you have completed every instruction that's given for an activity or an exercise. So number 1 says to write the subject. So let's look at sentence 1. The milk in this glass tastes or tastes bad. Milk is the subject in this sentence. And we can know that by asking the question, what tastes bad? Milk. Is it singular or plural? The word milk is singular. And a singular subject uses a singular verb, and that singular verb is going to end in S or ES. So it is going to be this verb here, and that rule is rule number 1, as you can see right here. Number 2, let's read this sentence both ways. Do your parents have a boat? Does your parents have a boat? Well, obviously, do sounds correctly, and in this case, it is right. So, What is the subject of this sentence? Who do have a boat? I know that sounds like a crazy question. Who do have a boat? Parents. So parents is the subject of this sentence. We haven't done a lot of questions where we have to find the subject noun, and so this one could have been a little bit tricky, but we can do this. So parents, the word parents, is it singular or plural? It is plural because it ends in an S. More than one parent. It's plural. And so it's going to follow rule number 2 for a plural subject. And so this one is rule number 2. Number 3, our houses is close together. Does that sound right? I hope you said no. Our houses are close together. Are is the complete verb to use there. What are close together? Houses. So houses is the subject. Is the noun houses singular or plural? It is plural. So what rule number is going to tell us which verb to use? It is rule number 2, because that's for a plural subject. And our subject is definitely plural, more than one house. Jim and Matt are twin brothers. Jim and Matt is twin brothers. Hopefully you can tell just by the way that sounds that the correct verb to use there is are. And because, well, let me ask this question. Who are twin brothers? Jim and Matt. And so our subject is actually 2 things. We actually have 2 subjects. We have Jim and we have Matt. So we would list them like this. If you've already done this and you listed them Jim and Matt, that's okay too. We just don't normally include that and because it's a conjunction and not the subject. We would just label it a little bit differently. So Jim and Matt. Is that a singular or plural subject? It is plural because it is a compound subject, Jim and Matt. So that would make that plural. And of course that makes the rule number 2 for which verb we use. Number 5, the mechanic check the tires on our car, or the mechanic checks the tires on our car. What is the subject of this sentence? Who checks the tires on our car? The mechanic. So mechanic is our subject. How many mechanics are mentioned in the sentence? Just one. So that's singular. Which rule do we use to decide which verb to use? That would be rule number 1 for a singular subject. And our correct verb is checks. Hopefully you knew that just because of the way it sounded and it made sense. You have the same color shirt as Mike. Or you has the same color shirt as Mike. Now you is a little bit different. It has a special rule. It follows the same rule as a plural subject. And so our subject, of course, is you. And so we would use the verb have, which is technically a plural verb. So that would be rule number 2. And it follows the same rule as the plural verb, so we would say that you is plural, even though in this sentence the subject is probably just one person. But we're talking about the rule, whether the verb is going to be singular or plural. All right, I am not going to go over the capitalization and punctuation rules for the bottom part of this. You have your reference from a couple of weeks ago to use on this, but I will tell you, if you did not get to this part, it's okay. It's not that big a deal. So if you didn't do that, it's all right. Hope you guys have a great week. Love y'all. Miss you. Bye.